80% of Americans say they would vote for a generally well-qualified person for president if he or she was a Mormon. 18% of Americans say they would not. Let's go back in history to 1967 when my predecessors first asked this question here at Gallup. 75% of Americans said they would vote for a Mormon, but 17% said they would not. You can note how remarkably similar those data were back in 1967 to where they are today. Now, the reason that Gallup first asked the question in '67 was that Governor George Romney of Michigan was running for president, and of course he was a Mormon. Now his son, Mitt Romney, former governor of Massachusetts, is running for president, and lo and behold, we find about the same level of resistance to voting for a Mormon today that we found lo those many years ago back in 1967. We also ask in our most recent poll if Americans even know that Mitt Romney is a Mormon. And these are some fascinating results because as you see there in front of you, the answer to that question is a lot of Americans don't know that Mitt Romney is a Mormon. This was what we called an open-end question where we didn't give any alternative, just say, tell us in your own words what the religion of Mitt Romney is. And 57% of Americans correctly said Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, or Mormon. Do the math, that means that about 43% of Americans could not identify Mitt Romney's religion. This is fairly remarkable. Quite a few Americans just flat out said they didn't know. Some Americans guessed that he was a Christian or a Methodist or a Protestant, but again, just 57% were able to accurately identify that Mitt Romney was a Mormon. So despite our assumption, that is those of us that work very closely intertwined with this election, following it closely, we all know Mitt Romney is a Mormon, but a lot of Americans out there don't. Now, one interesting cross-connection between these data, we looked at that group of Americans who do not know that Mitt Romney is a Mormon and said, would you vote for an otherwise well-qualified person if he or she was a Mormon? And 29% said no. So in theory, if those people who don't know that Romney is a Mormon get that knowledge or learn that he's a Mormon between now and the election, which probably they will because there'll be more intense publicity on the election, it's possible that that resistance to Mitt Romney could grow a bit when they realize that he's a Mormon and therefore he could lose a few votes. Now, we don't know that for sure. All we can tell you right now is over 4 out of 10 Americans right now are not aware of the fact of Mitt Romney's religion. I'm Dr. Frank Newport, Gallup Editor-in-Chief.